We got one more video I want to watch here from one of our favorite guys, Andreas Antonopoulos. And I just thought it was interesting to share. It's an older video, but it's always good to bring up some Andreas. I love how smart he is. I love how early he was. I love his sense of humor. I love watching his videos. So this one's also from Bitcoin News, and it says Bitcoin has achieved a level of computation that no single nation state can overthrow it. And this was a while back. I'm guessing this video is probably at least 7-8 years old now. And if you think about how the level of computation has increased since then, this is even more relevant today. So I think that this is one of the major concerns within Bitcoin and within Bitcoiners themselves, is that, if the government has the ability to just print as much money as they can, how could they not have the ability to overthrow Bitcoin and fork it, change the code, make sure that they hit the block, and then fork the Bitcoin blockchain? So this is what Andreas has to say about that.
Do you have any concerns about a large nation state that has interest in just actively destroying Bitcoin to make their own, super rigs and design chips and just throw hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to intentionally disrupt the blockchain?
Yeah, I don't worry about that at all. This cannot be done with Bitcoin anymore. This is something that can only be done with nascent altcoins. Bitcoin has achieved a level of computing that no single nation state can overthrow it through computation alone. The effort to do so would require a massive covert operation of chip fabrication, then the coordinated assault that would give them dominance over the next block for 10 minutes until we kick those bastards off the network, rework the protocol around them. They would be revealed. They would have lost $1 billion doing this, and all they got to do was one double spend. Now, here's the thing. Long before we get to that point, they figure out that if they just let this stuff run, they can actually get some Bitcoin as a reward, because the incentive structure actually works. And so I'm not worried about that. And a lot of people are watching the blockchain. And as I said before, what are they going to do? So they take over and they fork the blockchain and they go somewhere, right? They've created an alternative blockchain. Great. What are we going to do? Who's going to join the NSA blockchain? Anybody want to jump on FedCoin? So we're all going to stay on the old fork. Difficulty will go down. It will get more profitable for the miners who stayed behind, and we'll carry on with our coin, and they can go mine whatever the hell they want on their alternative blockchain. They achieve nothing. They can't make protocol changes because we, as I said, 5 constituencies in consensus, and it would take $1 billion to pull the most ridiculous Keystone Cops failure in history. Plus, this would actually require government that can do IT.
Big fan of Andreas. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And I think that even, there's probably people watching the show either in this chat today or the recorded version of it that have thought about that before. Why couldn't a country just print money, create a whole bunch of, or buy a whole bunch of, he said fabricate a whole bunch of chips, but essentially they would have to buy a shitload of Bitcoin miners and basically ensure that they're going to hit the next block and then fork it. But then what? It would be pretty obvious to see that whole thing play out. And then everybody would just vote. All the nodes vote. It's not based on dollars. It's based on the nodes, the consensus of the network. That's what dictates which way the Bitcoin network goes. And I liked at the end, he said, this would actually require a government who knew anything about IT, which is absolutely correct. Like, think about it. I think we give way too much credit and power to the government. And The people who are working for the government, and I shouldn't say this about everybody, never speak in absolutes, but the majority of people who are working in government are not very intelligent. The intelligent people do not work for the government. And I witnessed this firsthand in the accounting industry, because what we would do all day is we were working for clients. We were trying to help our clients avoid taxes, avoid paying taxes at any cost. Well, the people, and that's who got paid the most. If you're a partner at a CPA firm, you're making 400, 500 plus. This is in a smaller town every year. And so it attracts the best talent. And that's what happens in every industry. And then you go to the government, even though you got a nice pension and you don't have to do fuck all, you don't get paid very well. And that's who that attracts. There's nobody intelligent that wants to work for the government. So as much as we give them credit for still being around today, they're on a very downward trend, and it's not turning around from here for a few reasons, because we've kind of crossed that chasm already in terms of the money. There will come a time where the government's money that they print and they create does not go as far as it did before. They won't be able to hire as many people because people will just say, like, what's the point? Here in Canada, somebody just sent me a zap over the weekend and said, I can't believe that bread is $6 in Canada. What, is it made of gold? And it's true. Like, there will come a time where people just say, enough's enough. I'm not getting any further ahead. I don't like what I'm doing here. I don't like who I'm working for anymore. And that's when everything will, fully shift over. And they're not competent. They're not competent enough to know the ins and outs of what's happening here. So I'm not worried about it either. I couldn't be less worried about that kind of thing. And as he said, if they're smart, they would actually just use that money that they were going to put towards overtaking the Bitcoin network and actually just mine Bitcoin. Like, if you go through that whole trouble of buying all these chips, buying all these Bitcoin miners, setting up the infrastructure to do that, just to take over the Bitcoin network for 10 minutes, why not just keep mining Bitcoin? And that's exactly what we're going to see. We are seeing countries who are already doing that. El Salvador, I think there's who was it? The Bhutan? What's the Bhutan country? Somebody said that they've been mining Bitcoin for a lot of years. I'm pretty sure Russia has. I'm pretty sure China has. The US, there's certain states, I think, that are starting to mine Bitcoin. So we're going to see it. And that's the trend we're going towards. We're not going the other way.